This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
I'm on a boat somewhere in the middle of the gorgeous Sundarban Tiger Reserve. This one is just so precious. This is the world's largest mangrove reserve, as we know, mangrove forests, and India and Bangladesh share the Sundarban's natural reserve, tiger reserve, and Sundarban's in India, the West Bengal axis side of it, has about 1/3 of the square kilometers of forests, which is large, humongous, and the last census said that we have 120 odd tigers here in the Sundarbans. But 2019 is critical because the census has already started, and we will know by about October, November in 2019 whether the number of tigers has gone up. Now there's a good chance for that, hopefully, because what the Forest Department did about 2 years ago was to complete its project of having a fence around or across the river, so that the man-animal conflict between the Sundarban's tiger, which is known to be very ferocious, and the Adivasis reduces. Has that been achieved, Akansha? With me is Akansha Garg, who heads the Sundarban Tiger Camp, and with me is Avijit Datta, who is a naturalist and who frequents Sundarbans and of course travels to other exotic locations where the precious tiger is. So has the nylon fence did it do a good job?
Yeah, it did a fantastic job, because back in 2004 when we started a resort here, people were scared to come out. The villagers would go back into the houses before sunset. The tiger would cross almost every single day and take away cattle, at times people, a child, and life was at risk every single day. And the people, they were actually not very happy with the tiger, so they would actually look at poaching it, or killing the animal for money. Today it's changed because the Nylons come in. They're becoming protectors of the forest. The local villagers are involved in tourism. They're involved in becoming guides, getting education. Children are going to school now. You heard about crocodile attacks or bull shark attacks anymore. Sure. So it's the quality of life in this area has definitely improved. And this project got over almost started 10 years back. And it's been fantastic ever since.
It's been fantastic, great. And of course it got completed just about 2 years ago, because it is hard work to actually put the fence across, because this is a very tough habitat really, including for the animals, when they find lesser density of prey. For the people, it's hard life, because collecting honey from the forest is not an easy job. We met victims of tiger attacks. What do they tell you, Avijit? Do they realize how, or do they have a message to tourists on how important it is to protect the tiger?
Yeah, I think the villagers I've interacted with have especially families of victims or victims themselves who've survived tiger attacks or crocodile attacks. They've only said that, the common thing is, do you have a grudge towards the tiger or the other predators? And they said there's no point in having a grudge, because if the tiger's not there, the mangroves are not there, and the mangroves are not there, we are not there. So obviously the locals understand the importance of the predators, the wild animals, and the mangrove forest, because Sundarbans is a cyclone prone area. So if you don't have the tigers and you don't have the mangroves, then obviously these islands where even the villages are inhabiting, there's going to be wiped off almost.
Sure.
And I always say about the Sundarbans in general, it's a very fascinating place. You're not going to really, you may see a tiger, but most likely you won't. But I describe it in this way, that Sundarbans, along with Siberia and Sumatra, 3 of the most extreme tiger habitats in the world. So just being here, experiencing the habitat, is an experience in itself.
It is. It absolutely is. And this is the only one in the world where you can do a boat safari throughout, and it is absolutely calming, surreal. It is one of the most enriching experiences one can have. And there are other animals, like Avijit said. There's the salty crocodiles, which are innumerous, and then there are the monitor lizards, which are predator lizards and very unique to this area. There are some like the mud skipper, like he said. It's a tiny little fish which I was very fascinated with because I managed to spot one. Just comes out. It's a fish which is happy to be out of water for 20 good minutes, and that's so exclusive to the mangroves. You spoke of tourism, Akansha, and that's a very critical aspect because that has brought in so much more attention to the wildlife that's here. And the Indian side of the Sundarbans is one of the more organized side, although it's a smaller part of the Sundarbans. It's the more organized part, or a more secure place for the tourists. But what more can be done to sensitize the tourists, to sensitize locals around? I do reckon that your property, your camp is eco-friendly completely. But what more can be done?
See, the first thing is we have to stop promoting it as a tiger sightings sanctuary. That'll be step one. We have to focus on the culture of the people here. You know, talk about the Bono Bibi, how the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians, every religion that lives here worships this one goddess. Because this area was very prone to man-animal conflict, you know. The locals have always lived in terror. You know, earlier Avijit was talking about, you were talking about the tiger attack victims, which we saw. What we saw was just one. There are many. Every family here has a story to tell. And today what we can do is we can talk about that. We can talk about the mangroves, how the culture is, how different it is to any other part in the world.
Yes.
Like, I've traveled almost everywhere and I've never experienced something like the Sundarbans.
Sure.
I've been coming here
so
for
unique,
so long.
so rare.
Yeah, it is unique.
Yes, and you've been coming here from 8.
I've been coming here from 8.
From the age of 8, Akansha has been coming here, and she's been telling me some fascinating stories of how she lost a shoe trying to pull her leg out from the mangrove soil. But
Yeah.
one of the most, can you briefly share with us something that stayed with you? I'm sure every day is so special, but something that is just totally in your brain all the time, and that's something that you totally value.
Okay, so it's not a wildlife experience what I'm going to talk about, but a change what my staff came and told me. So when we came to Sundarbans, it was a very different terrain. You know, we were not considered as friends. We were the evil people who have come to take over the
urban crowd.
The urban crowd, and we were setting up this place for us to stay, not a hotel.
Years ago.
This was in 2001, and man-animal conflict was at its peak, and we employed a few people. They were poachers at the time, and they had a steady income coming in. And this man was always worried, you know, that his daughter or his family would go in the water. They might not come back because of the crocodile attack and all that incidents. In 2004, he was earning sufficiently well to make his family stop going into the water, and his child went to school. And that's something which I take back with me.
Sure.
That he's happy, and today his son is earning well, he's earning well. The whole family is self-sufficient. They don't beg, they're not begging, they're taking care of the house. And I don't know if you remember, Radhika, when we went to the village, you saw this. They have the money, right? The villagers have the money, but they're maintaining the culture by keeping their traditional houses in place.
Yes.
And how clean the mud houses, how clean it was. And they have this pukur and a Bono Bibi temple in each house, you know, where they're worshipping, and they're grateful for whatever this beautiful mangrove forest is giving them.
Yes.
They're not like the city ones that we want a Mercedes or a BMW, you know.
It's not. And what is really so beautiful about the Sundarbans, like any other jungle, is that there is such simplicity. It's not a rush by the hotel industry or by the others to make money, including by the locals here. They believe in feeding you local, organically grown vegetables. Yesterday I was on a dinghy ride. A dinghy is a tiny handmade wooden boat where a local was singing a song around the Sundarban river and talking about how important it is to preserve the wildlife that is around the area and what it means to them in their culture. These are some things that you really can't compare to any other habitat / terrain / forest. So yes, thank you very much for this input. Are you guys very excited about the census report coming out? Are you hoping that the number would go up?
Oh yes, I'm looking forward to it because, you know, once upon a time it was supposed to be 84, it's gone up to 120. Sightings have increased. If the tiger number increases, I know this forest is going to be protected.
Sure.
That's
Sure. What do you feel? You are more the forest guy. So what's the sense you get?
Well, I think the fact that if tiger numbers go up, everyone's happy, which is great. But the Sundarban tiger population is also very important in terms of tiger conservation or conservation of endangered animals, because as I said, it is a very extreme habitat, and a lot of other places in India and Nepal are easily prone to poaching, whereas here, because the habitat is so extreme, so although it is tough for the animals, including the tiger, to survive, it is also a blessing in disguise for them, because even for poachers it's very difficult to access these points and poach them out. It's a logistical challenge for them. So the Sundarban tiger population is an important population, and it is a hope for the future. So yeah, I'm looking forward, and I hope we will see a steady rise. It's always good to have a rise.
Spotting a tiger in the wild can be one of the most exotic experiences one can find or feel in the entire world. But imagine you're on a boat, and on the other side of the boat, on land for example, a Royal Bengal tiger walks on, looking at you, staring at you, drinking water. It can be surreal, and that's the attempt that we are making here at Sundarbans, world's largest mangrove forests. This is the only forest range in the world where you can spot a tiger while on a boat safari. And while all of us are here on tiny little handmade wooden dinghies, as they call it locally, that is boats, we have with us a gentleman who's a local and who's singing a folk song on the river, on the importance of the animal, the tiger, and many other species of the wild. This is truly one of the most enriching, enlightening experiences that I've had in my life.
ছাড়িলাম মানহলজ্জা ভাই আমারে কুহুলো কুলো দুকুল গেল কোন কোলে দাঁড়াই বলো আমারে কুহুলো কুলো দুকুল গেল কোন কোলে দাঁড়াই বলো আশায় আশায় জনম বয়া যায় প্রাণ বন্ধু আগো রইলাম তোর পিরিতের আশায় রইলাম তোর পিরিতের আশায় প্রাণ বন্ধু আগো রইলাম তোর পিরিতের আশায় বন্ধু আগো কদমের ডালে
We've accessed the Sundarbans from the West Bengal side of India. Sundarbans is shared by both Bangladesh and by India. Just 1/3 of the mangrove forest land is in India, and this is a more organized side of the Sundarbans, something that can assure safety, and mainly the safety of the tourist or the wildlife enthusiast who's here hoping to spot a Royal Bengal tiger. According to the 2015 census, there are close to 120 tigers in the Sundarbans, much better than the earlier census where there were only 70, so the numbers are growing, but the issues in the area remain. Man and element conflict has been on the rise. These are man-eater tigers, and the villagers have been really in fear of when the tiger would enter the villages, perhaps pick up a child on its way back to the forest. And that has led to a lot of man-animal conflict, as a result killing both humans and the animal, the precious Royal Bengal tiger. But there are many conservationists in the area doing their best to try and protect this beautiful, gorgeous, golden-looking Royal Bengal tiger. And the gentleman singing behind me is referring to the romance that the locals have, the love-hate relationship that the locals have with the tiger.